Prince Blueblood thought the Grand Galloping Gala was over. He thought he could just go to sleep and put it behind him. He never expected to be reliving the same disaster of a day over and over and over. Prince Blueblood has never been known as a very deep character within MLP. He only had a couple of rather brief appearances during Rarity's fantasy in the Ticketmaster and then in several scenes throughout the best night ever in which Rarity's fantasy came crashing down around her. You may not think that a story that centers around such an egotistical and self-centered character like Prince Blueblood would ever be that interesting. But Captain Chrysalid actually put together a very intriguing tale by combining MLP with one of my personal favorite films, Groundhog Day. While some of you may never have heard of this film, it combines some fantastic comedy from Bill Murray along with some rather inspiring character growth. To sum it up rather quickly, a man is stuck living the same day over and over and over again. He remembers everything that he has gone through, but every morning he awakes in his bed as if he is starting the day over again. No one else is any different, and it makes for a very unique story. The same thing happens in this story with Prince Blueblood, although the day that he is reliving over and over happens to be the disastrous events of the Grand Galloping Gala. At first, he is completely in shock, as no one seems to understand what is going on. And even when he tries to explain his unique situation, everyone else has great difficulty believing him. And despite all his efforts, Blueblood cannot escape his fate. Naturally, anyone in these circumstances would feel beside themselves. That is, until they come to realize that if there is no tomorrow, then there will be no consequences for the actions of today. And this is where the story starts getting really interesting, as the author gives a very realistic portrayal of an egotistical and self-centered character going through every situation imaginable. Similar to what Bill Murray's character goes through in Groundhog Day, Blueblood eventually starts learning the hard truth that comes with immortality. But unlike Groundhog Day, Blueblood actually can talk to other characters that have lived for countless lifetimes. The conversations that Blueblood ends up having with Celestia and even Luna make for some very thought-provoking dialogue, even though Blueblood ends up needing to convince them over and over again that he is trapped in this one day. But as you are reading through these pages, you start to feel for the royal sisters and the immortality that they've had to endure over these many centuries, and after a while you start to feel for Blueblood as well. And eventually, Blueblood starts to feel that if he cannot achieve his own happiness in a sustainable way, then perhaps he can learn how to help others in achieving their dreams. Which inevitably brings him to each of the main six, as their dreams of the Grand Galloping Gala all come crashing down over the course of the evening. And it's actually rather interesting to read about how Blueblood could possibly help all of these characters to have a perfect evening, despite the fact that each of their dreams are so very different. And while you may think that fixing certain things here and there would provide the answer, the author will actually manage to surprise you with how things turn out. It really makes you think about how removing a certain mistake doesn't often make for better circumstances in the grand scheme of things, which inevitably makes you better appreciate the trials that you've gone through in your own life, as you wouldn't be the person you are today without both your successes and your struggles. I, for one, really enjoyed this fanfiction. Despite the fact that I had already seen the movie that it is based off of, I was genuinely surprised at certain moments throughout the story. And even though I could tell where this story was going to go at times, I was still enjoying all the little twists that the author added in here and there. For those of you who have never read The Best Night Ever, I would highly recommend it. While not being nearly as long as Past Sins, it still manages to leave a lasting impression using a character that you wouldn't think could possibly have any depth to him. I say a job well done for the writer here. And for those of you who have never seen Groundhog Day, I'd be willing to bet that you would enjoy this fanfiction all the more if you took a look at that movie first. Give it a watch, and then give this fanfiction a read. You may be pleasantly surprised to find out how much depth you can give to an egotistical and self-centered character. Until next time, I am DRWolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.